to tell us? Ah, the unity movement. That's right. I read that somewhere.
Oh my, I tell you, it is good to be here this morning, and Di so kindly reminded me that everybody seems a little tired today. We've got a small crowd, but what the heck, we're going to do church. We're going to do church. And I wanted to talk a little bit about the unity movement, and that video, in my opinion, kind of personifies exactly what we're all about, and that's about claiming, acknowledging, and sharing the light within. That is what unity is all about. It's not about being lost. It's about we've never been lost. It's about finding the truth. So I'd like to welcome and acknowledge Reverend Glenda, one of my mentors. I will tell you, Glenda, you helped set my feet on the path. I really appreciate it, and her wife, Jane. No extra pressure here. No extra pressure. Okay. Welcome, friends and members, to Unity of Fort Wayne Spiritual Center. I trust you will find this a place where you and your questions are welcome. I am so happy to share this time with you during this busy holiday. Memorial Day, or Decoration Day, as we call it in the South, is a time to honor those men and women who have lost their lives defending our country. And it is also the first unofficial day of summer, and is also a time filled with graduations and family reunions. And this year, if you are an Indy Pacers fan, and as long as I can remember, the Indy 500. I vividly remember listening to the race on Memorial Day with my dad during our family cookouts and picnics. And when I still hear back home in Indiana, I get tears in my eyes. I know it's dorky. I get tears in my eyes, and I feel a thrill when I hear gentlemen and ladies start your engines. So let's take a brief moment to welcome our neighbors. Yeah. Oh, man, everybody is a little tired today. Yeah, everyone is okay. Just stay seated. Okay. We begin by centering ourselves in Eric Butterworth's interpretation of the Lord's Prayer. So let's just take a moment and take a breath. And these are the words of Eric Butterworth. I am now conscious of the infinite and eternal presence in whom I love and by which I think and create. This presence in me is whole and complete. It is the activity of health that heals, of intelligence that inspires, of substance that prospers, and of love that harmonizes. I am God's glorious possibility, and I now let His perfect idea of me unfold in me and through me. My desire for betterment is God's desire to perfect that which He is expressing as me, and I intend to let Him have His way, seeing myself as doing that which He sees me as being. I have no existence outside of God's presence, for I am that presence expressed as me. Therefore, I can never be separated from the all-sufficient substance of the opulent universe. I claim my divine inheritance, and I daily, perpetually manifest abundant supply. The presence in me is my potential for dissolving all conflicts of transgression. The presence is love, and it loves in me and through me as love. It forgives in me and through me as I forgive. It releases me as I loosen and let go of all my limited thoughts about myself and others. The presence in me is my light and my deliverance. There is no darkness in this light, and there can be no darkness in me when I am established in spiritual unity with the presence within, which is better than light and safer than the known way. In all that I seek to be, to do, or have, I humbly recognize that in the presence is my own power to think, my very aspirations, my will to commence, my strength to keep on, my power to achieve, and the glory of my accomplishment. This is the truth. It is done, and so be it. Amen. Last week, Reverend Stephen shared with us Charles and Myrtle's first written statement of faith. And in that statement, there were 32 lists of statements of beliefs. A few years later, they edited it to about 22, and for the past 100 years or so, it has been edited and re-edited, condensed to what we now know as the 5 principles. Connie Fillmore, the great-granddaughter of the Fillmores, summarized unity teachings and then condensed them into these 5 essential points. God is everywhere and always present in every circumstance. This divine energy underlines and animates all existence. Human beings are innately good because they are connected to and an expression of spirit. Our thoughts have creative power to influence events and determine our experiences. Prayer and meditation connect us to our own spiritual nature within God. And it is not enough to understand these teachings. We must apply our learning in all areas of life, incorporating them into our thoughts, our words, and our actions. I have heard them condense even farther. God is, I am, I create, I pray, and I love. Today, these 5 principles are the foundation, the very foundation of what unity teaches. And they are the basis of all of our messages, our classes, workshops, debates, and discussions. Many of you have heard me say unity is a positive, practical, progressive, metaphysical approach to Christianity based on the teachings of Jesus of Nazareth, whom we call our way shower or teacher, revealed and interpreted by the Christ Spirit within each of us. We practice affirmative prayer, the conscious communion with God, or the union of our human consciousness with Father, Mother within, and the wisdom from the teachings of Charles and Myrtle Fillmore and other early unity teachers. We are a community who encourage and support one another in the process of spiritual growth and development, overcoming adversity and learning to live a consistent and fully expressed Christ-filled life. This is who we are. But how did unity come into being? It is much more than the statements that Stephen shared last week. Okay, so how did our movement begin and evolve? So I have, for any of those who are really interested in history, I have printed off these flow charts of the movement of unity, okay? And I've got them on the table if anyone is like a history junkie. All right. We are part of what is known as the New Thought movement, which really isn't so new. Its roots can be traced back all the way to Plato and other Greek philosophers. On one side, okay, think of a tree. We got two main branches. On one side, we've got Plato coming down. And on the other side, we have the teachings of Jesus of Nazareth coming down. And as time passed, the movement was also influenced by Hinduism and Buddhism on guess which side? Plato. And many years later, Ralph Waldo Emerson, who became an early pioneer of today's Unitarian Church, and Henry David Thoreau on the philosophy side. That's one side. And Phineas Quimby, and later Julius, Anita, and Horatio Dresser on the Jesus branch. Okay? You see, we're coming down. Here's important, lady. It began to come together in the early 19th century with Mary Baker Eddy and Emma Curtis Hopkins. Mary Baker Eddy, a name you may be familiar with, founded Christian Science. And it is to believe this Christian Science is believed to be the first true New Thought organization. But Hopkins, ooh, she's a superstar. Her teachings continued to evolve and influenced Emily Cady, Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, who they founded the Unity School of Christianity, Silent Unity, and the Unity Institute. And by the way, the Fillmore spoke of Hopkins as the teacher of teachers. Emily Cady's book, Lessons on Truth, it is a basic text. And if you don't have a copy, I strongly encourage you to purchase one or to download one off truthunity.net. It is a foundational textbook of Unity School of Christianity, and to this day, it remains a required class in the Urban School and Unity Worldwide Ministries. Also influenced by Hopkins were Nora Brooks and Melinda Kramer, who founded Divine Science, and Ernest Holmes, who founded Unity Church of Religious Science, who was also influenced by Emmett Fox. Now, these are names that most of you recognize. That is the big picture, the broad strokes, I love that expression, or the broad strokes, as historian, biblical scholar Marcus Borg would say, New Thought. What is it broadly we teach? How do we define this spiritual smorgasbord of New Thought? We have a variety of workshops, classes, and programs. How do you define that? Today, most religious scholars regard American religion, which New Thought is an American movement. American religion is composed of three distinct forces, okay? So now we're on the spectrum of Christianity. Protestant evangelical traditions, which stress a sense of separation from spiritual power. That's what we would consider on the right. Mainstream Christian tradition, which stress grace through communal ceremony. That's baptism and communion. And then on the very far left, you will find metaphysical religions. Metaphysical religions are more commonly known as New Thought, but also includes, to much lesser degree, spiritualism, Christian Science, and for some, what is known as New Age. Yet New Thought remains unique and distinct, centered in a positive prayer practice. Metaphysical religions emphasize the human mind and its connection to God, which is oneness, recognized recognizes the fluid or energetic way in which the mind serves as a conduit between the spiritual and physical world, which is flow, and a steadfast focus on comfort and healing. And I think we overlook that sometimes, a steadfast focus on comfort and healing in one's life through the connection between human consciousness and external phenomena, which is manifestation. In simple terms, that's a lot of words to say something simple. New Thought is a metaphysical religion that shares a belief in oneness, flow, and manifestation. As a movement, New Thought can be said to be the confluence of three spiritual traditions, okay? Three spiritual traditions being Christianity, Hinduism, and Buddhism. It is influenced by the philosophy of Plato and his understanding of metaphysics expressed as mind, idea, expression, and is a spiritual path that speaks to human reason and intellect. Unity is further influenced by Christian and Jewish mysticism, which unity teaches was perfected by Jesus and speaks to the subconscious part of the human soul, which we called heart-centered spirituality. I recently listened to a video of I can't recall the name, it was a spiritual teacher that Susan had. And they made the comment that they were in Christian Science or Divine Science, Science of Mind or something like that. But they left that music, that movement, and came to unity because unity stresses love. Not just the power of the mind, we're definitely heart-centered. In other words, it's not just the brain, but the heart, the whole being of oneself. Knowing of the mind-body connection, unity also teaches mind cure, which speaks to the needs of the body, restoring life and health. Mark Hicks, founder of TruthUnity.net, defines New Thought as a spirituality with a belief system of oneness, flow, and manifestation, and articulated by the construct of the mind, idea, expression that addresses the needs of the head, the heart, and the body, and is based on the rich traditions of Western philosophy, the teachings of Jesus, and our understanding of the mind-body connection. So, what is the elevator definition of unity, if ever asked? Unity is a positive, practical, progressive, metaphysical approach to Christianity, based on the teachings of Jesus of Nazareth, whom we call our way shower, revealed and interpreted by the Christ Spirit within each of us, which takes me back to the beginning of this message. So, for more information on the history of unity and New Thought, check out TruthUnity.net for additional resources and guidance. Or pick up a flow chart, squirrel. Okay, so let's practice a little meditation. Put your feet, make sure your feet are flat on the floor, you're grounded. Softly close your eyes or soften your gaze. Put your hands on your lap. And as you breathe in deeply. Feel your body, your abdomen rise with the breath. And feel your body slowly lower as you expand. Take a few deep breaths through your nose. You may wish to pause briefly as you breathe in. Pause and breathe out with a brief pause. Now let your breath return to normal. Just breathe normal. Just let it be. And as you breathe, draw your attention to your body. Notice any place where you may be feeling tension. And imagine your breath going to that spot and allowing your body, your muscles to surrender and release to the breath. Using your power of imagination, imagine you are standing on a sandy beach. And as you look out, you see a beautiful, calm ocean. Water as far as you can see. There is no distinction between the horizon, the sky, and the water. And the waves are gently rolling to the shore. You can smell the salty air, and you can hear the birds playing. You look down, and now your feet, and you can feel your toes curling in the soft sand. Feel the warmth of the sand. Now look around you, and you realize that you are alone on this beach. But you are not bothered or burdened with loneliness. You are grateful for this day. The sun is warm, but yet you feel a gentle breeze. You notice a trail of shells lying on the beach, and you begin walking, following them. And as you walk, you pick up each shell. And as you pick up each shell, you feel lighter, stronger, and happier. And as you come to the end of this trail to pick up the last beautiful shell, you realize that it has led you to what seems to be a mirror. just lying there on the beach. Almost as if it was waiting for you. You notice how beautiful it is, how ornate, and you can't help but pick it up and look at your reflection. And when you do, you realize this mirror sees you truthfully. It sees you strong. It sees you intelligent. It sees you beautiful. It sees you capable of doing anything you wish to do. As you look at yourself, allow these feelings of self-love to sink in. Allow yourself to be engulfed in happiness. You are content and you are inspired. Continue to breathe slowly and deeply. And now as you look into this mirror, you see yourself surrounded by light. And you begin to see yourself as light itself. And you continue to breathe in and breathe out, breathing in this light. Continue to breathe in until you are ready to return the mirror to its place on the sandy beach. Know that you can come back and return to this place anytime you need. And now slowly make your way back up the beach. You continue to listen to the birds, and the waves continue to gently roll. Feeling happier, strong, and free. You are now back to where you began. And you return your focus back to the beginning, back to listening to each breath in, breath in and breath out. And as you breathe in and now out, when you are ready, gently open your eyes. You may wish to wiggle your toes or fingers. And slowly bring your awareness back into this space. In closing, I wanted to let everyone know that I'll be out of the office next Thursday through next Monday. I will be down home celebrating my children's graduation with their party and their celebration. And when my grandchildren, Ryan and Hannah, graduated, it was during COVID, so we didn't have any ceremonies. I was kind of bummed about that. You know, we watch our children and grandchildren growing up with the goal. You know, it's strange being a parent because they're your whole life. Your children are your whole life. Everything you do, like you have no money, you have no time, you have no energy because it's all to the kids. And the whole purpose is to get them grown so that they don't need you anymore. And it's bittersweet, it's painful. So just ask my kids, they'll tell you what a hard time I had letting go. So, and I'm not for sure I really have. So